Hello everyone, today I'm doing something different and providing a general analysis of Zcash, as I believe it would be irresponsible of me not to cover this narrative during this cycle. I'm going to go over what it is, who develops it, and why you should care from an investment perspective, and a little salty story time. So before I compare this to Bitcoin, I want to establish that this is in fact a legit project. The initial research began in 2013 at Johns Hopkins University, and you'll see at the bottom point there, the launch, the ZCash protocol was developed by MIT and Tel Aviv University. Okay, this project and this protocol is legit. First, you have to clarify that Zcash is the name of the protocol and ZEC or ZEC is the name of the token one would hold. Saying you hold Zcash is kind of like saying you hold some SHA-256 encryption. Like what? Like that doesn't make sense. Token, the coin, is ZEC. The protocol is called Zcash. I know that's reversed. Note how similar the total supplies are. You will find that many other projects will have hundreds of millions, billions, or in the case of Shiba Inu, trillions of tokens. Since a project's price is determined by market cap by times token supply, that makes it easy for us to predict potential price targets for ZEC in comparison to Bitcoin's market cap. Then we have the primary purpose. Whether boomers want to admit it or not, Bitcoin is essentially digital gold. Gold bar maxis will now start frothing at the mouth, saying if you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's a lazy, pompous stance. The logic of you don't hold it, you don't own it stems from the idea that holding gold means the government can't block it. Well, no one is out there bartering or buying things with their gold bar stash. They're essentially holding it as an inflation hedge. So it boils down to, I hold this because number go up, which is exactly why people hold Bitcoin. That's as deep as I care to interpret it. Zcash takes the digital store value concept that Bitcoin has and adds encryption to all transactions. One of the primary benefits of blockchain technology is also its flaw, which is privacy. All transactions are verifiable on blockchain. If someone knows your wallet address, they can look up every asset you own. Imagine someone being able to look at all of your bank transactions simply because they know your email address. That's how blockchain fundamentally operates now. The Zcash protocol accomplishes this through ZK proofs. I'm not going to go down that technical rabbit hole in this video. Just know that it makes all of your transactions private, so they're not trackable. The argument for Zcash over BTC is that it returns to the essence or ethos of Bitcoin's origins. Bitcoin started off as a vision against reckless currency handling by governments, constantly printing more money out of thin air and decreasing its value over time. Bitcoin's price is what it is because there are only 21 million in existence. By comparison, there are only 21 million ZEC tokens in existence as well. So it carries the same functionality as an inflation hedge. However, with Bitcoin's adoption by big banks and governments, on top of Bitcoin's transparent nature, people are looking for a Bitcoin alternative that enables user privacy. I'm going to tell you the investment thesis for Zcash. Do I think this is a phenomenal buy? Absolutely. Would I be buying now? Probably not, because the market cap is currently at 10 billion. I'm expecting this to potentially double, possibly triple. I'm expecting a price peak, assuming Bitcoin turns around, between $1,000 and $1,200. That's a 2x. That doesn't mean the project is bad. It doesn't mean I'm a Zcash hater. It just means I have a portfolio to manage, and I was holding bags prior to Arthur Hayes putting everyone's nose on it. And I'll tell you, and it's particularly infuriating because I want to remind people that as much as I make fun of XRP holders because the max supply and tokens, or the max supply and circulating supply, are so far off, so they use it to dilute the price. This was the 2020 to 2022 bull market, and this whole bit from 2021 to 2022. But there was some spike. Zcash, on the other instance, did absolutely nothing. And it did when it initially launched back in 2016. This is back during Ethereum ICO phases, the Palm Beach newsletter, the Tiki guy that was shilling it. It missed this whole cycle. It peaked at $245 and did nothing. Then it died, and now everyone's wanting me to buy. Why am I sick over Zcash? Well, I was sitting here November 2023, in the peak of bear, contemplating looking for narratives, the next big thing. I knew this cycle was going to be the cycle of ETFs, institution adoption, big bank, and I knew, or I had the discernment in November 2023, when Bitcoin was in the 30,000 range, that privacy would be concerned. I looked at the front page of CoinMarketCap and I saw ZCash and I saw Monero. I looked at them and said, those are too big of market caps. I don't want those. Let me get something bigger, or smaller market cap so I can get a bigger multiplier. I would then go on to discover Atter in November. I bought most of mine in the 60-cent range and was holding. I think I put about $10,000 into it, and it ran up. And then on November, their whole privacy bit was we're attached to the Tor Onion network. For people unaware, that was the network assigned to or was created or leveraged by the Silk Road guy back in the day, the deep web. This protocol was attached to it, or they were attaching themselves to that underlying protocol and technology. Then an article comes out that the Tor project removes 1K relays, and they linked 1K relays and linked it to a cryptocurrency scheme. That scheme, they would go on to say, the Tor project did not provide details about the cryptocurrency scheme, but it was most likely referring to Adher. This was November 21st, 2023, and then the price just tanked. When that happened, my conviction for the project completely fell out. I was done. What killed me was, and then I sold the bottom because I thought the project was dead, and I guess it would inevitably become dead here. But from here, they did a successful job of rebranding, created some hardware, and then the price would inevitably run. This is why you don't sell tokens in the bottom or in a bear, and I typically never do that, but I literally thought the project was going to die. They were just able to rebrand for another spike before it inevitably died. So Atter would go on to rebrand as Any1 protocol. It was in November 2020. Is this all? So this would be launched in June 2024. And last year, November was the last time during this cycle that Bitcoin was in extreme greed. It did run pretty well with that narrative, but then it tanked out with the rest of altcoins. It's now sitting at 40 million roughly market cap, which is toying costs of success or failure, as evidenced by my experiment with Atter before it was Any1. But the thing that kills me, just to put a bow on all of this, is I was on the privacy narrative October, November 2023, and Zcash was $27. We'll just punch in some quick math here. 672 divided by $27, that's a 24x on the 10K I had put in the project. That if I would have went with my initial look into privacy and stuck with Zcash and just parked it there, that 10K would be sitting at $240,000. That outlines the importance of two things. One, having early vision and conviction. I was right on my vision for the importance of privacy, but I tried to get too sexy with it by looking for a micro cap to multiply out the hold longer. I inevitably just ended up shooting myself in the foot. To that point though, Monero is also performing great. I know Zcash or ZEC is the darling of the bear market these days, but if you look over the last month, Monero is up almost 40%. Like, it's not a trash token. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to point out the difference between Zcash and Monero. Zcash is going to work with encryption, whereas Monero works through obfuscation.